Hi there, Veronica from Fleshgod Apocalypse, and you're watching RichardMetalFan.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Richard Metal Fan Interviews. This is episode number 124, and today's guest we're talking to Veronica Bordacchini. Veronica is the soprano opera vocalist for the band Fleshgod Apocalypse, a symphonic technical death metal band from Italy. Today we're going to be talking to her about what got her into metal, what made her want to be a vocalist, as well as going through her discography. So, without further ado, let's go talk to Veronica. So what's up, guys? I am here with Veronica Bordacchini from Fleshgod Apocalypse. She's also in the in Tenebra and Wisteria. So how are you doing today, Veronica?
I'm doing pretty fine, thank you. We're on the road. Today is Minneapolis. So it's sorry for the bad connection. It's actually I'm using my data, so
Yeah.
Sorry if it gets a bit glitchy.
It's all good. So I know you're on this awesome tour now with Obscura, the Wolfheart, and the Thulkundra. So how's the tournament going so far? The most typical interview question ever, as I always say.
Oh, but it's always like a surprise because you never know how it goes. So thanks for asking. It's actually going pretty good. We've had first 3 gigs were sold out already, and we played so far amazing shows. A lot of draw, a lot of people came, and it was very nice to see a lot of new and old faces. And the vibe in the tour buses, in like tour package, works pretty well, especially human wise, and we're very happy all together. We bonded already a lot.
Awesome. So kind of the format is I want to do a rundown of your discography, as well as I want to talk about where you started as a musician to where you are today. So take me back to like young Veronica. So what were the first bands that got you into metal? What made you want to be a vocalist?
Well, that's pretty weird because I mean, when I was like a teenager, I used to listen to very extreme music, like which I still enjoy, but not as much as I did when I was a teenager. Such as, I mean, a lot of death grind, gore grind. I really love that kind of music. One of my favorite was Peak Destroyer and Necrophagus. So it was I actually I attempted to sing in a band. I was doing pig squeal and mostly like harsh vocals, but it was just for fun. And then I realized that I was probably like more into more symphonic stuff, and like from one extreme to another extreme. It was like Nightwish within Temptation and stuff like that. Epica, like Kuna Coil, mostly fronted metal, female fronted metal bands. And I just realized that I really enjoyed the music and I could kind of sing. I mean, I was kind of replicating the vocals that I was listening to. And I decided to start practicing even more. And then I just started studying in Modern Music Academy. And after 3 years, I graduated and in pop, rock, and jazz music. And then I just, my teacher suggested me that I should have gone to a classic music conservatory. And that's where I started training as an operatic vocalist.
Awesome. And tell me about your first band, because according to Metal Archives, I believe your first band was in Tenebra. Tell me about like that, because I don't think really nobody ever talks about that.
Well, it was like a very young, let's say, project. We started when we were like, I think I was 19 when we started, and we're not like a band anymore. We're not together. We split, but not officially, because it's just we chose different paths, and most of us had like different jobs, day jobs. So we were mostly, I would say, kids, but it was like the usual garage band that you have with your friends that you enjoy. But we actually planned to. We had a CD and we had an EP, and we had a lot of fun. We were mostly a cover band, as every single band in the beginning, and then we had like like our own stuff. And the drummer which was my best friend. It is. Is Francesco Ferrini, stepbrother, the keyboard player, the piano player in Fleshgod. So that's how I got, introduced to the band.
Awesome.
And but we had a lot of fun. It was I wouldn't be here right now talking to you if it wasn't for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And how'd you end up joining Fleshgod Apocalypse? Because I believe you joined in 2011.
Yeah, I mean, my first appearance was in Agony in 2011. Yeah. As I said, they were looking for an additional symphonic ad. I don't know, something like that, and they thought about a female musician, and they thought about me because I was in a Francesco stepbrothers band, and we tried, and it worked. They liked it, and I was so humble that they enjoyed my voice, and I mean, that's how it went basically. They asked me to do like a few gigs together. They liked the performance, they liked the vibe, on stage. It was a bit different than the usual symphonic death metal bands. And then we started collaborating until I basically became a member of the band. My first tour was in 2013, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and of course, going into the next album, Labyrinth, I think is a pretty great album, and I know that this year is the 10-year anniversary of that album. So, what was the thought process? Did you feel like more comfortable going into Labyrinth than you did on Agony?
Oh well, definitely, yeah. I mean, even like going into the next, going into like something that you really know what's gonna happen. You never know what's gonna happen with Fleshgod, but I mean, I was really more. It was like in Agony, it was my very first time recording something as a professional musician. Because what I did before, it was like more like homemade studio, and we were just having fun and we're just like throwing stuff, But in Agony, I was very, very not uncomfortable, but kind of, it's the first time in a real studio with a real band who's actually touring for real. And knowing that my voice like was going abroad, like overseas with them, it was an additional emotion. Like I was pumped but very nervous at the same time, but I keep like feeling that even right now. But obviously on Labyrinth I was more let's say loosened, like more. I could have probably I unwinded a little bit more, I was a little bit more relaxed, but relax is not actually the right word.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course, breaking off from Fleshgod, I know in 2014 you did Under an 8-Bit Moon with Wisteria. Tell me about like that album.
That's one of my favorite albums. Probably my favorite album that I've ever recorded. It's a project that like it was born with actually from my the idea of a very good friend of mine, Stefano. He is a genius. He's a mastermind. I really love the ideas that he have. I really love the like music sparkles that he has every time he has to write something. And as I said, I mean, he was looking for a female vocalist, and he really liked my vocals, and I really liked the way he was like writing music. So we tried that. Our main influence was Devin Townsend, as we actually recorded a cover, Hyperdrive, if I'm not wrong. And we just, we spent months in writing and recording stuff, and we had so much fun. And I think it's one of the best pieces that I've ever recorded, because it also like matches 100% my music taste as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've heard a little bit of it before the interview, and and I especially love how you did like covers of like the Beatles, and then you did and U2. I thought it was pretty interesting, but I almost feel like you kind of like made it like your own in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it was very weird when he proposed to me, like, okay, should we do a Beatles cover? What? Like, doesn't match the sound of our music. I mean, we can make it work. And when he showed me what he had in mind, when I listened to the first, the first shape of the track, I was very pumped and very excited. So it was crazy, a crazy idea, but I actually like it a lot.
Yeah. And then kind of going back in the Fleshgod with the next album, King, from 2016. I love that album. One of my favorite albums from 2016. Tell me about like the making of that album.
Sorry, say it again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Kind of going into 2016, going back to Fleshgod, you did the next album, King. Tell me about like that. What was that like making it?
Yeah, that was probably the craziest experience ever, because it was probably like a step up from Labyrinth, composing wise, and like all the story behind, and the king being actually all the metaphor and all the hidden meanings behind every single song. It was tough because it took a lot of time to record and also to write. I didn't write the songs, but I've witnessed them writing and struggling with every single instrument that has been played in the album. So it was a very exciting but also very tense year for that album. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's still
yeah, and I remember hearing like the Fool, especially with that little piano thing, and then just going like the symphonics and just guitars.
Yeah.
I think it's a great song. One of my favorite Fleshgod songs.
Thank you. It's also like a change of tempo in the beginning. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I remember first seeing you on that album cycle. You did that tour with the Epica back in 2016. I remember. If you could see in the background, there's like the poster of the I actually got the Masquerade wall. Tell me about like that tour. That was the first time I ever saw Epica and Fleshgod.
I mean, I still have that tour in my heart because I used to be. I mean, I still am a fangirl with Epica. Like, it's one of my favorite bands ever. They introduced me to symphonic metal, basically, and Simone, she is the reason why I started singing. Basically, her and Tarja Turunen from Nightwish, they're basically the reason why I started. So, and that they're also amazing human beings. So it was it's been a very smooth tour, and we enjoyed it every single day of it. And we became very good friends with them afterwards. And every time we meet, or every time like they have vacation, or we have vacation somewhere, or we have like festivals abroad, and like we have a chance to meet, we always spend time together because we bonded a lot, and it's a very good thing to treasure when you meet amazing people like them.
Yeah, and they were pretty much like the bands that got me into like symphonic metal, like Epica, Nightwish, Within Temptation. They were like those first bands that got me into like the symphonic stuff when I was like about almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, those. I mean, you mentioned all like my favorite band. I know it may sound like a cliche because everybody mentioned that, but they're great because of a reason, and that's because they are huge and great. That they're also. It's very nice to realize that like your idols are actually like regular people who like to have fun like you do, and they're very charming and like down to earth. So it's and you could actually like become friends with them. That's the best thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I know you also play with a variety of bands, because I know that first time I saw you was mostly symphonic stuff, bands. But then, of course, you did the tour in 2018 with Whitechapel and Black Dahlia Murder, which is just like death metal, deathcore band. So what's that like? You ever notice like a different like crowd reaction?
I mean, I would lie if I say no, but we never had a bad reaction from different type of crowds. So people like, probably because like we also like put on a show that's more theatrical as like not regular bands, but like other bands. So we like we dress up. I have my staff, the mask and the makeup, and we all dress up like old couches, I would say, but and like all the backdrop and the lights. It's and the piano. We have a real piano on stage. It's particular. It's very surprising from people who are used to, just like death metal concerts or regular metal concerts, I would say, because
Yeah.
not a lot of bands put, like some sort of theater. They build a theater on stage. So they were, there are obviously people who didn't like us, but I mean, that's life. We can't actually,
Yeah. Can't please
satisfy
everybody.
no, you can't please every single person on earth. But they've been respectful. People who didn't like us, they've been respectful to us. And I honestly was expecting them to throw us, I don't know, bottles of tomatoes. But they were very respectful, and they were like, "Yeah, not my cup of tea, but you sounded good," and that's
Yeah.
it. And that's like very pleasing for us.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like you can play with like a variety of bands. Like you could play with death metal bands, you could play with like Black Dahlia, and then you could play with Epica. Hell, I mean, you can even play with Nickelback, and everybody would love you.
Oh man, I would love to actually. Look at his photograph. I would love that to do with it. Exactly.
Yeah, but then
I mean,
going into
we're
the
available just in case.
yeah.
Nickelback are good.
Yeah, but then going into the next album, Veleno, I love that album. That was probably one of my favorite albums from 2019. What was that like going from King to that? Because I almost feel like it's almost like brother and sister in a way. It almost kind of sounds similar.
We, there was another step up. It was like a metamorphosis for the band, and I really like the way Veleno started going, and I'm pretty sure it's like a new beginning for the band. It started when Veleno. We written Veleno when two of our band members left. So Tommaso and Cristiano, they left the band. So there's been like some sort of big changing in the band, because they were like former members, or they were like there since the beginning, and they were like, they still are, but like they were very like brothers to us. So when they left, the band needed a little bit of a change, and
Yeah.
I really like this kind of change. And for instance, my favorite album is Labyrinth, but I really love the way Veleno went.
Yeah.
So like songs, very weird songs that we would have never put in an album like Agony, such as The Day Will Be Gone. It had a very strong impact on people, and it took a little bit of time for our fan base to kind of digest and kind of like accept and like the song. But afterwards, everybody loved it, and we even gained like more fan bases from other different genres. So
Yeah.
we had a crazy good response from
Yeah.
the crowd, and we're very happy because we identify more right now in Veleno,
Yeah.
because we grew up. It's like it's
A natural evolution.
yeah.
Yeah, and then of course I remember the last time I saw you did that tour with Hypocrisy. See, and that was great. I remember getting like VIP because I don't know if the VIP was well promoted, because at the Atlanta show I was literally the only person with VIP, and that was
Yeah.
awesome. So I remember seeing y'all soundcheck, and I remember you were singing like some Disney songs and something, and I think you have like a great voice. I could imagine you like doing some voiceover for like some Disney movies.
That's one of my dreams, probably the dream.
Yeah, and I remember
Thank you.
And I remember even meeting you all, and like you all are like some of the nicest down to earth people, and I forever have a lot of respect for you all as musicians and as people.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
yeah. But then of course I know you toured for a little bit, but then the pandemic happened. So, and I
Yeah.
remember you did like that live stream where you're all like in a room playing in a circle. Well, how did that idea come to be? And that was kind of weird seeing you all play in like regular clothes, because I know you always wear those outfits that make you almost kind of like portray
Yeah.
characters in a way.
Yeah, that was Francesco Paoli's idea, and we instantly agree with him as soon as he mentioned it, because in a moment where everything was shut down, we were like there were a lot of restrictions in all over the world, not just in Italy. We thought, okay, let's just gift our fans with something that, I mean, it's not gonna happen soon that we're gonna play a concert. We're never gonna play a concert like anytime soon. So let's just play a concert live, but streaming. And we were like, yeah, that's cool, but what about the clothes? And it was like, no, because the clothes are strictly attached to the way we are on stage. This is not actually a stage. It's like, it's more intimate, and that's what we wanted to share with people. Like, me being not the Fleshgod Apocalypse singer, but me singing as Veronica. Even though we were playing, of course, the repertoire, our set list, but it was more intimate, and people got it, and they really liked it. So I'm very, very happy that they did. They caught the meaning of that live stream.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course I know in that year you released the single No. Tell me about like that song. I loved it.
Oh, that song, well, it came out of nowhere, basically, because we were as every single band, as every single person who was working, not just related to the like concert or music business, but everybody was struggling at the time, and the only thing we had was internet. So and it kind of developed that sickness, that attachment, that addiction to internet, to what's fake news, what's not fake news, to what's like appearance and aesthetics, and not the actual meaning of things. So we just we wanted to write a song about it, and actually one of the the chorus, it will save the world scrolling down a wall. So it's obviously scrolling the wall of Facebook, for example. It doesn't save the world. It doesn't change anything. It's just, it makes you even more angry about stuff that you want to do, but you can't do because you're stuck at home. And so, I mean, putting also Britney Spears, it was kind of breaking the rules in there.
Yeah.
And people at first were like, what the fuck is going on? Is that Britney
that was
Spears?
me.
Why?
Like,
and
hit
then,
me, Fleshgod, one more time.
Exactly. And I mean, I promise now, since we started like touring again, people freaking love it, and they sing along with me. I even like let them sing sometimes.
Yeah. Now we got to get another song with following up called Yes or Maybe, or I don't know.
Well, we'll see. We'll let you know, like something like that. Yeah. But we released Blue, which is even more like
which is
against every single rule.
I love, which is of course the Eiffel 65 song, which that was like my childhood jam. What made you guys decide to cover an Eiffel 65 song?
That's I can't answer that question. We have a crazy mastermind, which is Francesco Paoli, and he didn't even let us decide. It was like, I just I rearrange a song that we are gonna cover. And I'm like, okay, which song is it? It's Blue. What Blue? Yeah, from Eiffel 65. And like, let's do it. And that's just.
Yeah, you gotta show love for your fellow Italians.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm pretty sure they listen to it. I'm pretty sure they listen to it.
Yeah, I would love to see like their reaction. Maybe y'all could do a tour together.
Oh man, that would be awesome. It's everybody's childhood soundtrack.
Yeah, I remember I remember I was like 5 years old when that song dropped.
I was a little bit older, but still, it's I was probably secondary school or something like that. It was amazing.
All right. And being as it has been 4 years since Veleno, have you all started working on the next album? Like, what's the status with the album?
We are ultimating the writing session. Obviously, we haven't got enough time right now because we were like in the middle of two tours, but one, like the European tour, has been split in two, so we didn't have much time to actually, update the progress of the writing progress, let's say. So once we get back home, we're gonna be almost ready to record. So hopefully, I don't want to jinx it, but let's say that this summer we're gonna start recording the new album.
Awesome. So before we go, I just want to thank you for this conversation. I know you're on the awesome tour right now with Obscura. Is just anything else with the Fleshgod Apocalypse that you'd like to promote?
Well, basically, I'm gonna show you this amazing laminate. This tour, which is selling so fast, and it's going amazing. We're gonna have a lot. It's just the beginning of the tour, honestly. So I'm gonna like quickly tell you the dates that we're gonna play. So today it's Minneapolis, and then it's Joliet, Detroit, Toronto, Quebec City, Montreal, Worcester, New York, Silver Springs, Richmond, Greensboro, which you're gonna tell. I really hope you're gonna be there, right?
I was gonna try to. I wanted to go to that, but I didn't realize I didn't have enough like PTO for work.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, that was one of the reasons why. And I'm like, fuck my life. And I was hoping y'all would come to Atlanta, but hopefully I know you all will be back.
We will, yeah, we will very soon, actually.
Yeah.
I can't say more.
Yeah.
But then we have Tampa, Austin, Dallas. Houston, Dallas, Austin, El Paso, Mesa, San Diego, and then Los Angeles, the last one, which is very intense, but full of very, very good emotions. So we're also having a great response from the VIPs. So, I mean, I really want to thank everybody who still love us and support us. And thank you so much for having me on this interview. I'm sorry it's been like rough to get in touch, but now that we're on the same time zone, it worked. So we made it work.
Yeah,
even if I'm like,
the stars aligned. Yeah, the stars have aligned. Yeah. Ooh, wow. Snowy winter wonderland. Yeah. So everybody, Veronica from Fleshgod Apocalypse. See you next time.